عن عبد الرحمن بن أبي بكرة عن أبيه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يمكث أبو الدجال وأمه 30 عاما لا يولد لهما ولد ثم يولد لهما غلام أعور. So here it is narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said that the parents of Dajjal, they will wait for 30 years. Will wait for 30 years, they will be trying to have children, but they will be unable to have any children for 30 years. And after 30 years pass, they will have a child. أَضَرُّ شَيْءٍ وَأَقَلُّهُ مَنْفَعَةً. When they finally have this child, what will they see? They will see this child, it brings very little benefit. It brings more harm than benefit. تَنَامُ عَيْنَاهُ وَلَا يَنَامُ قَلْبُهُ. One of his descriptions will be that his eyes will sleep, but his heart will not sleep. And I'll explain this to you, is coming in this narration, and I'll explain this at the end. ثم نعت لنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أبويه فقال أبوه طوال ضرب اللحم كأن أنفه منقار وأمه امرأة فرضاخية طويلة الثديين. So then the Prophet ﷺ, he described the parents of Dajjal to the Sahaba Kiram. How will his parents be? Now remember, I said even though we are studying Ibn Sayyaad, we're also going to learn a lot about Dajjal from this as well. So the description of the parents of Dajjal, it is mentioned that his father will be tall, extremely tall. And he will be Darabul Lahm, he will have very little fat on him, meaning he will be skinny. And كَأَنَّ أَنْفَهُ مِنْقَارٍ, it will be as if his nose is like a beak, which means his nose will be long and pointy. He will have a long nose. And then the Prophet ﷺ described Dajjal's mother and said that she will be fat and she will have a large chest. Then Hazrat Abu Bakr says, this is not Hazrat Abu Bakr, this is another person, Hazrat Abu Bakr. He says that we heard of a child from the Jews that was born in Medina Munawwara. So myself, Abu Bakr, and Az-Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, they both went to investigate the matter. They both went to this house. And what do they see? They say that when we entered the house of the parents of this child, what do we see? We see the descriptions that the Prophet ﷺ had said regarding his father. They fit this child's parents. The parents of this child, the father, he was extremely tall, he was skinny, he had a long nose, and the mother was fat. So they then conversed with the parents of Ibn Sayyaad, and they said that, do you have any children? So they said that we waited for 30 years. For 30 years we tried having a child, and after 30 years we finally had a child, but that child brought very little benefit, brought more harm to us than any benefit. And outward, it is, he is blind, he has some disability in his eye. And a description of his is that his eyes sleep, but his heart does not sleep. So then these two, Hazrat Abu Bakr and Hazrat Zubair ibn al-Awwam, they both say that we left from the parents and we came outside, and what do we see? We see that child, regarding who there is a suspicion of if he is Dajjal or not. And we see that he is lying on the floor in the sun and he has a blanket over him. وَلَهُ هَمْهَمَةٌ, and he has some humming noise, some muttering noise, we don't know what he's saying. And فَكَشَفَ عَنْ رَأْسِهِ فَقَالَ مَا قُلْتُمَا, and suddenly he then removes the blanket from his head and he looks to us and says, what did you two just say? So we are surprised. We thought he was sleeping. He's lying there in the sun, he's sleeping. So we said that, هَلْ سَمِعْتَ مَا قُلْنَا, did you hear what we were saying? So he said that, yes, تَنَامُ عَيْنَاي وَلَا يَنَامُ قَلْبِي, that my eyes sleep but my heart does not sleep. So remember, this is a description of Dajjal, that his eyes will sleep but his heart will not sleep. And another thing to remember is that this is also a description of, anybody? Description of the Prophets alayhimus salatu wassalam, that when they go to sleep, their eyes sleep but their heart does not sleep. This is the reason why we say that when they have dreams, their dreams are not like ours, that some are true and some are false. Every dream of theirs is true, because when they are asleep, their heart is in connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they are receiving revelation. from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now the question is, how does Dajjal have a same similarity, same description as the Prophets alayhi salam? So the answer to this is the Prophets had this state because their heart was so pure and clean, they had a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas Dajjal, and in this case Ibn Sayyaad, why was it that his heart was awake? Is because his heart was so dirty, so impure, that the shaitans had control over it. So when he would sleep, he would have a link with the shaitan, and they would be inclining him towards badness and inspiring him towards badness. So this is this narration. Through what do we learn? We learn a little about the parents of Dajjal.